2 years ago, I made a video that through some insane algorithm jiggery-pokery became my biggest one and still is today. I picked up one of Games Workshop's beginner paint sets and I asked a really simple question. How good can I make this using only what's in the box? And the answer surprised me. Hundreds of thousands of people have watched it, loads of you picked up the set yourselves, and judging by the comments, quite a few of you ended up painting your very first miniature because of it. Well, Warhammer have gone and released a brand new range of starter sets, which means there's only one sensible thing to do. Let's see if the new one is any better. This is the new starter paint set. It'll cost you £22.50 from Warhammer directly, or about 18 quid if you've got a decent local gaming store. Mine came from Red October Games near Newcastle, who continue to enable my increasingly expensive plastic addiction. Inside you have got your paints, your brush and two push-fit Space Marine Intercessors. And just like last time, there is one important rule. I'm only allowed to use what's in this box. No fancy brushes, no extra paints, no airbrush, no secret sauce. Well, maybe if the sauce is hypothetical. If you're buying this as your first ever painting set, this is all you've got, so that's how I'm going to treat it. Straight away, I ran into my first problem. The old kit came in a plastic tray that doubled as a great mixing palette. This one is all cardboard, which is lovely for the environment, but absolutely useless if you're trying to mix paints. So we're already improvising. The paint selection is interesting too. We've got... Fuck's sake. Come on! Are you fucking kidding me? Black, white, silver, gold, brown, and in a shocking twist that absolutely nobody saw coming, blue. Now, it's actually not a terrible selection, but I immediately found myself wishing I had a red. With red, blue, black and white you can mix purples, darker reds, lighter reds, browns, loads of useful variations. Brown, on the other hand, well, it gives you lighter brown, which to be fair is still brown. Once again though, you can only piss with the cock you've got. The brush also deserves a quick mention because it's actually better. It's not good, don't get excited, but it's definitely better than the one from the old starter set. It still developed a hook by the end of the painting session, and the short bristles make glazing and really controlled edge highlights harder than I would like. But compared to last time, it feels like someone in Nottingham's at least picked one up before putting it in the box. One thing you still don't get though is primer. That's a shame because I'd argue primer is more important than half the paints in this box. Rather than starting from blue, like Games Workshop probably intended, I went straight in with black. Now that gives me all my shadows for free, and more importantly means I don't have to try and poke black paint into every recess with a brush that's already plotting my imminent downfall. From there, it was just a case of trying to squeeze as much range as possible out of this very small number of colours. So I mixed black into the blue for the darkest sort of blue tone. I built that back up to the kind of regular blue, and then started introducing white to create progressively lighter mixes of colour. Now, you don't need 50 shades of blue if you're prepared to mix your own, but it would have been nice to have a light and a dark blue just to save me the effort. One thing worth remembering is that adding black or white to most hobby paints doesn't just change the brightness, it also knocks the saturation back. So you'll absolutely get a darker or a lighter blue, but you won't get that same rich, vibrant colour because you're stretching the amount of blue pigment across a bigger mix. The chapter symbol looks like freehand, but don't give that much credit. It's moulded onto the shoulder pads, so it's really just a case of carefully picking it out in white. Brown basically went everywhere that was eventually going to get gold, because gold covers much better over a warm base. And I used the same brown for the leather pouches because, well, we've only got one brown. I did push one final highlight into the blue and I attempted some edge highlights. I don't know why my voice has gone like this. That's got it. So I attempted some edge highlights, attempted being the important word because the hook on the brush kind of had other ideas by that point. Gold and silver, they came next. Silver works well over black, so again that first coat of black is paying dividends here, and the gold went well over the brown. The eyes were an adventure. Normally I'd use red for the lenses, of course, with it being ultramarines, but obviously we don't have that, so it was white. I immediately made a mess of it and I had to clean it back up with blue and pretend that that had always been the plan. I also tried making my own washes by thinning down the brown and black. Now, they worked, sort of. The brown helped the leather a little bit, while the black kind of took some of the shine off the armour and it settled into a few of the recesses. They never quite became as good as Agrax Earthshade or Null Oil, but yeah, for homemade washes they weren't, I guess, entirely useless. The gun was crying out for a bit more definition, so I mixed up a simple grey from the black and white, and I used that to pick out some of the sharper edges. I also added a few highlights to the that kind of ribbed undersuit where it peeks through the armour. Right at the end, I also started getting greedy. I wanted brighter metallic highlights, but adding white to lead belcher just gives you like grey rather than a light silver. Science therefore remains undefeated, and mixing the silver into the gold gave it a slightly more worn look rather than a brighter one, which actually wasn't terrible, but lead belcher is a dark silver, so it's not going to really lighten anything up despite the fact that it is quite reflective. Either way, a very light silver would have been better to highlight the gold, but you know, you can only work with what you've got. Actually even mixed a thin whitewash into the backpack vents to make them look like they were glowing in the end. But ultimately that's how I approached it. If you want to see all of this footage unedited in real time, let me know, but chances are it's not going to be that interesting. So you know, in the interests of just keeping things moving along, I haven't put it all in. So this is what it looks like. Is any of this how I'd normally paint a display miniature? Well, not necessarily, but that is kind of the whole point of this experiment, right? So did the experiment work? Yeah. I think this is a genuinely solid result from a very limited box. Is it the best Space Marine I've ever painted? No. Not really, but if this had genuinely been all I'd owned on day one, I would have been absolutely chuffed with it. Is it enough to get you into miniature painting? Absolutely, 100%. Now, if you've bought this set and you're wondering what I would add next, here is where I would spend my money. Number one, primer. I actually think it should be in the box. Even a brush-on primer would be useful. It'll make every miniature you paint afterwards easier, more enjoyable, gets a good base coat down. A light dusting of primer will help the paint adhere to the plastic. I'm a big fan of Colourforge because you basically get more for your money than you do with Citadel, and the colours are matched, so if you're sticking with the Citadel range or you're familiar with it, then it's a bit of a no-brainer. Next, I would say a better brush. You can absolutely paint with the one in the box, as hopefully this video proves, but you will enjoy yourself a lot more with a decent natural hair brush. Hawk miniatures are a brilliant place to start without spending silly money. I link them in the description of all my videos. In fact, best recommendation I can make for a miniature painter who's just started: get yourself some natural hair brushes. Hawk are affordable enough to make them not prohibitive. So what is that? Hibitive? Anyway, after that, I'd start expanding your paint collection. I would say a red, a green, and a yellow. Probably unlock a bit more colour mixing, give you options for things like lenses, plasmas, purity seals, all the little details that bring that model to life. I'd also grab a couple of washes. Null Oil and Agrax Earthshade have become cliches for a reason. They are genuinely useful when you're starting out. I would say a hobby knife makes cleaning mould lines much easier. And if you're planning on buying proper kits rather than these push-fit models, you will also want some plastic cement to stick them together. Texture paint for your bases is going to make a big difference for almost zero effort, and if, like me, your eyesight isn't getting any younger, I would say a pair of magnifying glasses is probably a necessity. And finally, here is the most aggressively low-budget, unglamorous, definitely not bourgeois hobby tip I've got. Guys, when you finish your champagne, keep the cork. Stick a blob of sticky tack on top, and you've got yourself a perfectly good painting handle to save you clawing desperately at bases like your Gollum coveting the ring. 2 years ago, I ended that first experiment by saying that this little starter set was enough to get you into the hobby. Just. 2 years later, I think that is still true. Anyway, I hope this does exactly what the first video did. If you're sitting there wondering whether you can paint miniatures, yes, absolutely. Mine look like this because I've been doing this for years, yours might not. And that is completely fine. Every painter you admire has a first miniature hidden away somewhere, and I promise you it wasn't their best work. The only difference between you and them is that they've painted theirs already. The goal isn't to paint a perfect Space Marine, it's to paint your first one. and then your second, and then the next one. And if this video convinces you to pick up this little starter set and give it a go, I'd genuinely love to see what you make. Drop a photo on the Discord or let me know, because seeing people get into this hobby has been one of the best parts of making this channel. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you're new, and let me know in the comments what you'd change about this starter set if Warhammer put you in charge. Thanks for watching, now go finish something.